So lately, I've been obsessing over lost media and going down a whole bunch of really weird lost media rabbit holes. More specifically though, lost TV episodes. One thing led to another, and if you know my channel, you know that I'm obviously obsessed with cartoons. So I found myself on the lost wiki page for Dexter's Laboratory. That's when I found an episode that I kind of forgot existed. The episode's called Rude Removal, and I'm sure a lot of you remember this episode, but for those who don't, Rude Removal was an episode of Dexter's Laboratory that apparently followed Dexter using a giant machine to try to separate the rudeness from Dee Dee. One thing leads to another, and Dee Dee and Dexter both fall into the machine, which creates like a rude clone and then like a nice clone. But the rude clone wasn't rude like, oh, I'm not gonna hold the door open for you. It was rude like, I'm gonna like cuss you out and make fun of you. For the longest time, this episode was just a rumor that most people thought was just fake. But that all changed in 2010. So let's talk about it. So Fred Rader's Fred Seibert, I'm just gonna say Fred because I don't know if I'm pronouncing the last name right. He served as president of Hanna-Barbera Cartoons from 92 to 1996. So while he was teaching one of his classes, he actually had a student mention it and ask if it was indeed real. Apparently he told the student that it was real, and then later on his Tumblr page, he posted this. So his post reads, "Last night, at my annual visit to Jim Arnoff's senior animation class at SVA in New York, I got a question about a mythical banned episode of Dexter's Laboratory. Since it happened after my time on the series, I called Gendy, I think it's Gendy, during the class. So for those of you who don't know, Gendy Tartakovsky is the creator of Dexter's Laboratory. Gendy says, actually, there was one episode that they didn't air. It was called Rude Removal. Dexter made foul-mouthed duplicates of him and Dee Dee, and every time they swore, we bleeped them out because standards didn't like it. So, there we have it. October 26, 2010, after 13 years, Rude Removal was confirmed to actually exist. Now, obviously this was huge, but now that the fans know the episode's real, what happens next? Well, nothing really. Well, not at least for a couple years. In September of 2012, Gendy conducted an AMA session on Reddit to promote his then upcoming animated film, Hotel Transylvania. Quick side note, I actually watched Hotel Transylvania for the first time the beginning of the year with my daughter. Such a good movie. I wasn't expecting much, but I'm a big fan. Anyway, eventually on his AMA, a comment about Rude Removal was posted, and it quickly shot to the most liked questions. The question was posted by user DyingBreed360, and it said this: "There's this joke going around about how finding Dexter's Rude Removal is the hardest thing since finding the Holy Grail. Is there any chance you'll make this available for fans?" So Gendy actually responded, and this is what he said: "Next time I do a public appearance, I'll bring it with me." So as you could imagine, the Dexter's Laboratory community and the entire Lost Media community started flipping out. People were saying things like, "Holy crap, this is bigger than you might imagine. This is one of those old web legends. It would be a really, really big deal if this got uploaded." And mark this day, 10 years after people first started hunting for the episode, and now this. Awesome. But then a few weeks go by and nothing gets posted. That is, until Adult Swim gets involved. I'm gonna guess they realized that people were really interested in this episode and they wanted to capitalize off of it. So Adult Swim began airing bumpers on the network suggesting that they were going to attempt to acquire the episode and have it go public. And here's one of those bumpers. So after these all went live, Adult Swim got really quiet on the issue for the next couple months. But then, on December 1st, they sent out this tweet asking if they were still interested in the episode. So following an overwhelmingly positive response, Adult Swim aired this follow-up bumper the next day. It stated that they had succeeded in obtaining a copy and they were in negotiations to get it put online in the next week or so. Weeks pass and there's no word from Adult Swim whatsoever. People started getting really upset, some suggesting that Adult Swim never actually even had the episode in the first place, and that the whole thing was nothing more than some cruel publicity stunt. However, on January 20th, 2013, Adult Swim tweeted a picture of the episode title card, along with this message: "Dexter update. Thanks for your patience. We go live Tuesday afternoon. Check back here for a link." So Adult Swim posting this title card pretty much ended all of the doubt that anybody had about them not actually having the episode. And at this point, all we could do is be patient. Keeping true to their word, Adult Swim uploaded the entire episode January 22nd, along with a tweet that read, "With love, Adult Swim," along with a link to the full episode on their YouTube channel. And as you could imagine, this was a big deal for a lot of people. I mean, you had some people waiting a literal decade to watch this episode. People were absolutely losing their minds in the comment section. Some people super happy about it, and others were disappointed. Some people were upset that Adult Swim only released the censored version of the episode, which I don't see why anyone ever expected an uncensored episode to be released. I took this whole thing as they were going to release the episode that they originally pulled. The episode that was sent to Cartoon Network 13 years prior, which obviously was the censored version. But with that being said, there were a lot more people happy than there were upset. But unfortunately, after just a couple weeks, with no explanation, Adult Swim removed the video. But of course, this is the internet and nothing's ever truly gone for good, so the video was downloaded and posted again on several other YouTube channels. So as of right now, 2024, you can still easily go watch this episode on YouTube or anywhere online, and I encourage you all to do so because this episode is actually crazy. To think somebody made this episode thinking it could actually go on Cartoon Network blows my mind. A lot of people compare this episode to that SpongeBob episode, Sailor Mouth. You know the one.
Hi, Squidward! How the are ya?
Nice day, isn't it, Squidward?
And they say since that episode made it on Nickelodeon, this episode should have had no problem getting on Cartoon Network. And I gotta say, I completely disagree. I'll admit that the SpongeBob episode was pretty PG-13, but this Dexters episode was way worse. But what do you think? Which episode was the more adult one? Oh, but the rude removal story continues. Now that everybody had the normal version of it, people started to want the uncensored version. And at the time, it was unknown if Adult Swim ever had the copy that was uncensored, or even if there was one that was uncensored. But on July 15th, 2017, Craig McCracken officially confirmed via Twitter that the uncensored audio was originally recorded for the episode. So there we have it. We know the uncensored version does exist. Or at very least, we know the audio does. He follows up by saying that he doesn't know if Cartoon Network actually has the uncensored version though. I do think it's important to mention that people do claim they've seen the uncensored version in the viewings that Gendy would do in his classes, but I haven't seen anything to actually confirm that. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, I've Googled it and immediately found the uncensored version on YouTube. But that video is definitely fan-made. But like, it sounds really, really good, I do give him that. And that fan-made uncensored version may be the only one we get because as of right now, that's where the story ends. A 13-year search for a 7-minute episode ends with the network themselves releasing it. Gotta respect Cartoon Network for that. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. But one final question. Now that most of us have actually seen the episode, do you think they should have just aired it on Cartoon Network? Like, if they never made it a really big deal, like, do you think people would actually be that upset about it? I mean, times were different back then. I mean, we had Ren and Stimpy on Nickelodeon. I think that they would have got away with it, at least at the time. I'm sure it would have been pulled and banned eventually like the episode Sailor Mouth was, but at the time, I think it would have been fine. Alright, with that being said, this is the end of the video, for real this time. I'll see you guys later. Peace.